Darnell Nurse is a defenseman for the Edmonton Oilers,
Mm-hmm.
and he has been kind enough to join this show plenty of times. And as Tim has brought up a lot, another Hamilton boy, and as Tim brings up a lot, sometimes when a team loses the night before, regardless of sport, and we've lined something up, it is not uncommon for maybe us to push the interview to another day. But Darnell Nurse didn't do that, and he's on the line, and he's kind enough to be on, and he's a pro. Darnell, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good. Thank you again for doing this. As always, we appreciate when you jump on. Let's go big picture here, just you generally. I know there's no fans in those stands, but just the fact that hockey is happening, the fact that we're seeing games, the fact that there's a lot of juice in these games as of now, just how much fun is it just to suit up for a couple of hours a day and forget the other stuff? How helpful has it been for you?
Yeah, it's been great. I think especially because the wait was so long and there's so much uncertainty obviously in the world and with our occupation. So you're waiting around training and there's points in the off season where you're kind of thinking like, what am I even training for? And it's exciting to be able to just go out and feel some type of normalcy. I know there's no fans in the stands, but as soon as the puck drops and plays and things start to happen, you kind of block it out and it feels like you're back into some type of normalcy. So we've been very fortunate to be able to play this game and to be able to do it right now. There's actually a blessing behind it.
Listen, it's 9 games in, and normally there'd be a bunch of people pulling the EPMD and saying you got to chill, which may be before your time, so I apologize, but you can ask your mom and dad. It was a jam. So it's it's early, of course, but no camp, 9 games, and because it's a Canadian division and every matchup is an all-Canadian matchup and every matchup is divisional play, does it feel like there's a little more pressure on every game and a little more pressure every time you guys go out and play?
Yeah, there's definitely pressure. I think you kind of nailed on the head there. With it being in the division, it's so tight every game. Obviously there's 2 points up for grabs, but it kind of feels like 4, right? Because there's a swing one way or another. So that it definitely brings a little more pressure. And yeah, nine games in doesn't seem like much when you're playing a 56 game season. It's a good chunk of it. So for us, I know we're not in the spot we want to be in right now, but just knowing the importance of each and every game, and if you're able to string a few together, that from 1 week to the next can look completely different. So you just got to keep that even keel attitude, and try to have fun within this division, and being able to play hockey every other day is not something to complain about.
Darnell Nurse, defenseman for the Edmonton Oilers here on Tim and Sid. Leafs Oilers tomorrow night, hockey night in Canada. Prime spot. That should be fun. All right, Darnell, let's get to it here. Obviously, expectations high with your group. Obviously, changes were made. Obviously, disappointment with what happened with Chicago last summer. It was clear. Your take on what's gone on here with you guys is what?
I mean, it's still early in the season. I know everyone wants to have a doomsday scenario already. I mean, with our group, I think we have to continue to believe. You look at the pieces that we have, staff that we have. There's sky's really the limit for us, and obviously it hasn't gone the way we wanted it to go these first 9 games. And it's easy to sit back and get very negative and complain or look at this in the wrong light. But we have to understand if we can put a couple weeks together, and there's a huge importance in the games that are coming up here in the next couple weeks. There's no reason why we can't put ourselves in a good position if we could put some games together. But I mean, we could talk about all we want. It comes down to us going on the ice and doing it, and we haven't done that enough.
Listen, 9 games, 1 goalie, with a ton of extenuating circumstances given the restrictions and the injury to Mike Smith. Has this been tough on Mikko Koskinen, and by extension tough on you guys to watch him have to go out in all 9 of those games?
Yeah, Koski's a competitor, and I think if we look back on the 9 games, sure, we've lost 6, but there are few in there that we're more than a few where we've had the opportunity to win games, and we've kind of done it to ourselves, shot ourselves in the foot. And Koski's still on his head and played hard for us each and every night, and we have to help him out more, and keeping pucks out of our net. So, to see him go out there and battle each and every night, it's not an easy schedule. You're playing back to back. You're playing, like I said, every other night. There's not much rest for him. So, for us, we got to be in a position where we're helping him out, keeping pucks out of the net. And it's you see your goalie go out there and battle like that each and every night. It makes you hungry to want to be better for him.
Darnell Nurse, Edmonton Oilers here on Tim and Sid. Darnell, because you're taking on a bunch of teams more regularly, obviously, from outside your division than you normally would. Who's the guy you've seen a bit more of lately because of the circumstances that you normally wouldn't see a lot of face to face? Where, regardless of team, where you say to yourself, okay, that's either you got to watch that guy, watch that kid, or he's even better than I thought he was.
Obviously we've played Toronto 3 times now, which is a team we usually only play twice. Obviously we hear about that team a lot from the media, being Canada's biggest team, but they have elite offensive players that when you play against them each and every night, they present different challenges each and every night. So I wouldn't say there's just one player there, but there are a few. You look at the Montreal team, kind of the same thing. You have guys like Toffoli and Anderson who are having big starts this year. So there's a lot of great talent in this division, which makes it even more difficult each and every night. But we know we have a lot too on our team that if we bring it, we're a tough team to beat.
It's funny because despite the record, you have the top 2 scorers in the league on your team. And at the start of the season, like we were bigging up all this offensive talent in the North from, Vancouver with Hughes and Pettersson and Besser, and Flames have some top end talent. The Habs added up front. The Jets have always had. As a D-man, can it kind of feel like there's no rest in this condensed schedule and all of this offensive talent in the division?
Yeah, there's. I think for us, it brings on even more importance of like team structure and sticking within our system. As cliche as that sounds, you play. I've always found playing in the Western Conference, it's more of a hard nosed checking style as opposed to the Eastern Conference. And for us, we kind of got to get back to that mindset. Can't open it up each and every night because we're not used to the shootouts, so to say, as much as they're on the East. So there's definitely a lot of offensive talent. But to be able to shut it down, I think the team that can grab a hold of their system and play well defensively here early and often throughout the season is the team that's going to have the most success. So that's something that we need to grab onto, and it needs to start now.
I agree.
Darnell Nurse, Edmonton Oilers here on Tim and Sid. I know it's not the start you wanted, Darnell. But you're a plus guy right now, and McDavid's doing his highlight reel thing, and Leon's getting points. Like how, in terms of Leon and Connor, considering you have a different view of them than us, do they look even better to you this season?
Yeah, I think each and every year they come in and everyone knows how these guys can get any better. It's just kind of the mindset they have. Each and every year they go into an off season, they're looking for little things that we probably wouldn't even pick up on. I'm not going to give away any secrets because you never know who's listening. But there's always little things that they go into the off seasons working on, and you're just like, oh, how do you even think of that? You excel so much in this one area to make this little adjustment, and you see it each and every year. All of a sudden, there's different little nuances to their game that they pick up on and make them even more elite. So I know it's exciting being their teammate. You don't have to play against them in a game setting, but I think each and every year they just come back with something new that they're just like, wow. How have you guys not played the Flames yet? I know you don't make the schedule. I know I'm talking to the wrong guy, Darnell, but there's how the hell we've had 9 games a night
it just seems a little strange, right? I know you're going to make up for lost time soon, but that seems a little weird to me, doesn't it?
Well, I guess I just wanted everyone to get the rust out of their system and make sure that we're playing each other on all cylinders. I guess that's the only way I can look at it.
They were saving it.
I mean, either that or if you don't want to put them in after having a long off season and put the first game against each other, we might be playing the next game. Only have 10 guys on each roster, so I think it's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing that we're waiting for a bit to play each other. But I mean, that's a rivalry and one that I think everyone on both sides has circled on the calendar, and it's coming up here pretty soon. But we got a few games to take care of before we get there.
No doubt. But I just remember towards in March of last year when things were kind of normal, it kind of looked for a moment, right? Maybe first round, and just in that, you're 9 games in. I need me some Battle of Alberta. That's all I'm saying. I need me some Battle of Alberta.
That's fair. I mean, we had the exhibition game in the bubble, and that was nearly a playoff game. But that might have the most intensity there.
Yeah, more intensity in an exhibition game. Yeah.
An exhibition game. That's great. Darnell, before we let you go, because we've had the pleasure of talking to you a lot through the years. Just remind me, are you A, an NFL fan, and B, a Jays fan? Are those your lanes for other sports? Are you overly familiar?
Yeah. I'm with the Jays. I started to get once I moved to Toronto. That was been 5 years ago. We go to the Jays games in the afternoon, and I kind of went to the night because I can't go to Jays games. The sweat that I have for those. 1 p.m.ers, 12 p.m.ers, where it's 30 degrees.
Get hot, man.
In the middle of the Rogers Center. I don't have the right shirts for that, so I end up one of the more night games. But I am Jay-Z. I love the NFL. I do fantasy football like everyone else, and I just want to say, Sid, I wasn't sure if I had to send in a gift if you're doing the NBA farewell tour. If I had to send in a gift for you, I know you let it out that you're leaving a little early. Maybe try to receive a few gifts on the way out. So I'll have to ask if that's.
I'm sure you'll get some joke gifts idea along the way. I'm sure plenty of people will hit you up on Twitter. But I appreciate that. But Mike, going back to what we're talking about though, the final two things I wanted to end on here because you were good enough, and I'm serious, man. You know how it is. After a loss, sometimes it's tougher to come on. We really appreciate coming on. So let's end this way.
No problem.
George Springer signing. Your thoughts on the George Springer signing with the Toronto Blue Jays? $150 million, and we have the Chiefs at -3.5 point favorites as of this second for Super Bowl 55. What do you think of the Springer signing, and who you got next Sunday?
I think with the Springer signing, anytime you get a game changer like that within your organization, obviously the Jays have so much young talent and talent that's really coming into their own, and now kind of add that to the mix. I think it's exciting for anyone who follows the Blue Jays as Canada's baseball team, and that's really exciting, really, for the summer. And then I got the Chiefs. It's tough to bet against the GOAT and Tom Brady, but I am a big Mahomes fan.
So am I. And maybe next block with Adam Rank, I'm going to drop something on Sixero and try and get an opinion on Mahomes, because I think you and me might be thinking the same thing right here, Mr. Nurse. I know you got to, when you say that you're an NFL fan, also a Ticats fan, right? We had 2 Hamilton boys on there. You got to throw that in the mix too, right?
Yeah. And there's Ticats always hold a place in my heart.
Yeah.
Can you do a 1 o'clock Ticats game? You got shirts for that in the heat or no? At least early season. At least early.
As the old Ivor, when you go in the end zone, I don't think anyone was wearing a shirt down there, so there's no problem.
Good point. Good point.
Appreciate it, man. Again, as Sid said, easy to come on when you guys are, winners of 9 in a row, but after a loss, we do appreciate you taking time and talking to us.
No, thanks for having me on, guys. Really appreciate it.
No problem.